Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and this is October 2024, and we are in Victoria, British Columbia. This was our Alaskan cruise, and I think we were coming in to Victoria at this point on our ship. Very, very interesting and somewhat of an odd stop on our Alaskan cruise.
Oh, hold on one second.
We got here, I want to say maybe 7 o'clock in the evening. We had to be back on the ship, I don't know, around 11 or something like that. Very late stop into a port. We weren't exactly right in the middle of town. It was awkward. It was awkward. I believe there's some sort of a law that if you're on an international ship and you're doing an Alaskan cruise, they have to make at least one stop in Canada, which totally makes sense when I think of other cruises I've done. And yeah, anyway, so I think there's something to that. So we stopped in Victoria, and there were some excursions you could do, some bus tours around town, horse-drawn carriage tours, other tours around town, and if you don't know, yeah, Victoria, it's on Vancouver Island, and we spent a week on Vancouver Island probably a decade ago. I've got a video or two of that up elsewhere on this YouTube channel if you're interested. And yeah, I love Vancouver Island. And here on Victoria, in Victoria, as you got off the ship, if you decided just to go walk around, there were some people around to kind of help and give you directions. That was very helpful. That is Canada to me. You know, it's Canadians are sweet and helpful. That is a stereotype that matches up. Anyway, there are some things I would like to do on Victoria. I'd like to go back there again and spend more than just a few hours late at night. I knew we really couldn't do any real damage on this brief stopover, but it's still a pretty city, and we decided just to get off the ship and walk and see what we could find. And by the way, if you're gonna do an Alaskan cruise, trust me, that's not a bad idea. It's a pretty little city, and there's enough to see to make it worthwhile. And my buddy Rick grabbed a map, and we really just did not plan anything. We just decided to get off the ship, go walk, see what we could see. Got some great views of the ship, by the way. In fact, my buddy Rick took a picture of me and my wife with the ship in the background. It's one of my favorite pictures ever of my wife and I. It's just, the colors are right. It's vibrant. It's a very pretty picture. So anyway, we started walking, kind of followed this map. There are several sort of somewhat odd roadside attractions that you can visit if you just step off your ship, where we were in Victoria. I'll be honest, I'm not sure about the significance of many of these. I did not know anything about them until we saw them on the map. And there's a giant anchor, there's a mile marker, monument, and yeah, I don't know a lot about those things. But we saw them, and we stopped, and yeah, it was dark. We took some pictures, but we saw these things, and we kind of developed a little bit of a walking trail. So we got off the ship. I think we walked to that anchor first of all, and kind of walked around and saw some other things, including this statue, by the way. And that is a very inspiring story. That's Terry Fox, who had, I believe, his right leg amputated when he was younger, thanks to bone cancer. And he was so moved while he was in the hospital, at other children and other people suffering. He did a kind of a cross-Canada run to try to pretty much raise awareness about cancer and that sort of thing. A very sweet story. I think that's more of a Canadian thing. I'd never heard of him until we saw that statue, but it's a very nice statue, and it was something else to see as we walked around Victoria. Lots of nice houses. We saw a lot of people out walking their dogs lots of people out riding bikes and just walking around anyway. It, yeah, I kind of felt like
Drive-in
this would
restaurants.
be a great area to retire, or a great area just to live in and soak up a nice little community. And again, when we were on Vancouver Island 10 years ago, we did not go to Victoria. Um, we thought we would save that for another day. We sort of thought we would be coming back to Vancouver Island shortly after that, and that just never happened. And then there is also this. This is, I believe, the Beacon Hill watering can. It's a big, giant flower watering um, structure. And I believe this is kind of a little park area where kids can kind of come and play during the day. It was pretty cool to see during the nighttime too. And we stopped here. It was another oddity on our map as we walked around, and we thought, it was something definitely cool to see while we were in this neck of the woods. And we kept walking around and just enjoyed the little neighborhoods that we walked through. Saw some nice houses, nice apartments. Oh, and there was the Emily Carr house. Emily Carr. We did not get a good picture of the house. It was kind of at a distance. It was dark. We took a couple pictures, but they did not turn out very good. Seems that she is a well-known Canadian author and artist, and I'm gonna need to look her up later. I know sometimes before I go to a place, I like to read a book by a known local author or something like that. So, yeah, if you have any recommendations, let me know. Love the little free libraries that are around. I think those are so sweet. In fact, I've started carrying books around with me to
Oh,
put
well,
in
that's
those when I'm
nice.
done with them.
That helps a lot.
And I will occasionally take one out. Is that wrong? Is it wrong if I take one out and I don't replace it? I've contributed more than I've taken in general, but anyway, then we also found the teacup tree. There is a tree that has been there for a while, and I think the guy that lives in the house right next door to it. And there's a nice picture. We had to use the flash to kind of get the images right, but I think the guy that lives beside the tree has started putting teacups on the tree. I think as a memorial for his mom or his grandma. I need to look that back up. I'm sorry, but yeah, there's the sign. Yeah, yeah. I mentioned supporting Granny Palmer's favorite charity, so I'm going to assume that's the guy's grandma. And they have a little thing there where if you appreciate the tree, you can make a donation, and it goes to one of her favorite children's charities, and that's very sweet. Oh, hey there, hello. I did not notice that little person waving at me while I was filming. Thank you for doing that. I always think it's sweet when somebody waves to me when I'm trying to film. But yeah, I really love that teacup tree. There was something sweet about it, and I mean, there wasn't just a few teacups on it. There were many, many of those teacups, and it was just a pretty cool sight. Something fun to see. We enjoyed that a lot, and that alone to me, that's the kind of thing I love. Kind of made the whole trip. That was pretty cool. Yeah, and it's starting to get late, so we started making our way back to our ship. Some of these, yeah, some of this video might be a little dark. Forgive me. Very cute area though. A couple of cute little businesses through here, and it's always when you get around ships, the ocean, and the whole nautical thing. To me, this is very just pretty. It's very attractive. I understand why so many paintings exist of lighthouses and ships and beaches. And we're walking back to the ship. Kind of a cool little walk. They did have a weird thing. I forget how we did it, but we did not have to show our passport as we got off the ship. They sort of took care of it before we left the ship. It was a very efficient process. And I know we were on another cruise where showing your passport was a little bit of a pain in the backside as you get off the ship. That was not the case here. Very nice welcome to Canada sign that I wanted to get a shot of. They did have a little shop right there by the ship if you wanted to pick up some souvenirs. It was small and crowded. We just sort of looked at it. I didn't even bother going in. Back on the ship, you saw a little bit of Victoria, the lights of the city. That's a scene from our TV in our room, just giving you a little image of the front of the ship. And most cruise ships, I believe, have a channel where you can turn on the TV and just watch what's going on at the front of the ship. I believe we're pulling out of Victoria now, and we had a very nice visit. I hope to visit again at some point. Again, Vancouver Island, separate from Vancouver, by the way. Vancouver Island is one of my favorite places we've ever been to on a vacation. Very, very earthy, very natural. Lots of old trees, great wildlife, eagles everywhere. And it was nice being there again, even briefly. But yeah, Vancouver Island, great place to visit. And we had fun in Victoria.